Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan medal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Super Strike for the TEQ Trunks or TEQ Trunks Xeno, the latest Super Strike to get his update or revamp, and of course with it comes his Extreme Z Awakening and also quite a few stones. So a couple stages have been added in, the third stage which features this Dokkan Awakening medal and the fourth stage with the Easy A medals. These come in combination with the first stage which drops his SR card and the second stage which drops his medals to awaken him to an SSR. In terms of Super Strikes, if you've never done one before, they're a great way to get stones, but they can be relatively challenging for new players, so come back when you have a team that's at least capable of doing a Dokkan event. Probably going to need it. It's not the easiest event. I would say they're probably a little bit harder than Dokkan events, at least based on the numbers. Now of course you can bring sealing, stunning, attack lowering and defense lowering for Trunks, but it's not necessarily too necessary for the final stage. Trunks will start as an SR, but then you will awaken him into an SSR and then awaken him into a TUR and then Easy A that TUR, so it's quite an intensive process. I'm here to guide you through the entire thing, so you shouldn't really have any major issues, but of course if you do have any more queries you can let me know in the comments down below. Trunks seems very interesting. His passive reads like an absolute paragraph or chapter out of a novel, and the Time Travelers category is going to be the most effective in procuring bonus drop rates. It's very important that you try and have the highest rarity Time Travelers you can get, so that you can obviously produce the most bonus drops in terms of this event. Of course there are missions, and it's very important to closely follow the missions, as these are going to save you a lot of time if you keep up with them. So we're definitely going to be going through all of them together, and there are some special missions for the fourth stage when you are looking at completing that. So all in all there's definitely a process involved here. But the first step is to start with stage 1 and making sure that you choose your team. The team you choose doesn't have to be crazy, not at least up until the fourth stage where you'll probably need a proper team, but like I said, you want to maximize the amount of bonus, so try and have the highest rarity characters you can. That includes, ideally having as many LRs as possible. In this first stage you are going to get the SR copy of Trunks. It's a very simple stage, just basically make your way to the end of it. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to farm up to 15 copies of this Trunks. So the reason you want to have 15 copies is because later on Trunks' SA is going to go from 10 to 15 when you awaken him to a TUR state, and you're going to want to use a second copy of Trunks to max that out. Super Strike units have a max SA of 20 when they're Easy A, so there's a little bit of process involved. So with stage 1 you're going to need to farm 14 copies because you get 1 copy from the mission. You can see we've claimed that copy, and you can see that we've trained 2 copies of Trunks. You should have 1 copy that is SA10 and another copy that is at a minimum of SA5. It's okay for the unit to be over SA5, it's more than likely you're not going to get exactly 15 because of the bonus. The next step is to awaken them. In this state we're going to be awakening them to their SSR or their UR state. This will enable us to look at their hidden potential. For this you're going to have to go to the second stage, and here you're going to have to farm 10 medals each, which means you're going to need 20 medals in total. You will need to awaken both of the units, however this is not a huge train smash. Again, a very simple stage, except this time you will have 2 phases against Trunks. You can use the same team from the first stage, it's very much not a difficult stage at all, and at the end of this you will get some medals. Like I said, at this point you are going to need to farm at least 20 of these medals or the 2 copies of Trunks. So make sure that you have enough. Go back and farm them. Remember to apply Oolong and Bulla and Vegeta GT if you need to improve your bonus drop rate. And then come back and obviously awaken Trunks when you have finished collecting the medals. The next step after this is the most important step and the most complex. This one requires you to complete a couple missions. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to use our medals that we have obtained to Dokkan awaken both Trunks units. Awakening the one Trunks will complete one of the missions. We're going to awaken the second Trunks, and we're going to train him immediately into the first copy of Trunks that we have. This will max out Trunks' SA at 15, and then we can start to look at collecting the copies of Trunks from the mission. Once we have maxed out Trunks as SA, we will go back to the event and we will claim the mission rewards. By claiming the mission rewards, we will then obtain multiple copies of the already awakened SSR Trunks. As you can see there, we've collected a couple copies. Now the first thing we're going to do with this is we are going to go to the hidden potential system for Trunks, and we are going to open up all of his hidden potential system. But before we can do that, we need to awaken him to his UR state. So you're going to go back, awaken Trunks to his UR state, and now you can activate his hidden potential system. Go back to the hidden potential tab, and there we are going to open up all 4 paths. It's important at this point that you open up all 4 paths, because you do not want to be left in a situation where you need to farm another copy of Trunks, because you're going to have to go through the whole awakening process. So we open up all of his 4 hidden potential system paths, which is fantastic, and that leaves him pretty much ready to go. At this point, what we do next is we go and collect the final mission rewards, and we should have enough copies of Trunks now to make a second copy at SA5. So we're going to collect all of these mission rewards here. Excellent stuff. We're going to go back and create a second copy of Trunks that will be SA5. This Trunks will be used when we eventually Extreme Z awaken our main copy of Trunks, as we're going to need to push his SA to 20. We will also need to Dokkan awaken this Trunks alongside the main copy, so it's important to make sure you keep them both. The next step obviously is now to Dokkan awaken the Trunkses, and to do this we will need to complete stage 3. Stage 3 is fairly straightforward. It is nothing too complex, much like the other stages, and it's actually a little bit quicker than stage 2 because it's only one phase. Again, you can continue to use the same free-to-play team, and again remember to activate Oolong and Bulla and Vegeta GT, as both of these will of course assist you in generating some additional drops. Because the stage is so quick, we will be running it and showcasing it, but it is a fairly simple stage. Here you're going to need 20 medals per unit, so that means you're going to need to farm 40 medals in total. Basically, you need to awaken both Trunkses. Once you've done that, you're all ready and set to Extreme Z awaken them. One nice thing about running a Time Travelers team is you always have access to the physical Trunks friend LR, and he's pretty good and will basically solo all of the events for you pretty much, which is always something that's quite nice. So once you complete the event, you then need to begin the process to obviously collecting the medals. Again, it's nothing too crazy, but just remember you need to collect enough for both copies. You don't want to be left in a situation where you can't awaken both copies, and then you end up like being left a little bit short, and it's just not really an ideal situation. So yeah, pretty simple stuff. We've now unlocked the 4th stage, but before we get there, we need to make sure we have both copies awakened. You can elect to use this Trunks in your team if you need to take on the 4th stage, however it's not necessary, although he is pretty decent, so if you need to use him you can. Now we have both Trunkses awakened. The final step is to take on this final stage. Now you will see I have altered my team slightly. The reason I have altered my team slightly is for 2 reasons. One, to help complete the missions. The missions require us to essentially complete with 6 Time Travelers category units, a couple crossover category units, and also requires us to complete it within a certain time frame. Because of this, I have adjusted the team with free-to-play units, but added in 2 free-to-play units to just help augment the team. Firstly, the Goku Zamasu unit to help give us a better lead, and the First Form Cell to help give us a bit more damage and better output. The reason we have changed the team is to help complete the missions. By completing all of the missions, you only have to run this final stage 3 times in total, which does reduce the amount of times you have to run it. If you can't do any of the missions, or you don't feel like doing it, you can use your strongest team and complete the stage anyway. It doesn't really matter, you can eventually just farm them. It just means you basically have to run the stage 6 times instead of 3 times, which saves you a bit of stamina and a bit of effort, of course. Now, the stage in itself is not necessarily too difficult. There's actually only 3 phases against Trunks. The final phase is one where Trunks has charges and will change typing after every turn. So he can cause you some problems, but generally speaking you should be okay. And like I said, if you have the Time Traveler's Trunks as a friend lead, he tends to carry a lot of the payload. So Trunks will always start the third phase as a TEQ unit, which is obviously relatively helpful. I will say if you are using this exact team, you do want to be careful about the arm unit, as he can take a fair chunk off of a super from Trunks, but outside of that there's nothing too crazy. Generally speaking, I would say this final stage was, quite fine. Of course, like I say, it can be challenging, especially for new players. So if you are struggling, feel free to use items. There's a reason they give you the ability to use items and secure yourself the win, or use items to speed up your win. If you can't finish the turn challenge but you're not struggling defensively, throw in some attack augments, some Bulma items, and then you should be able to basically have a good time. So yeah, don't feel like you are, how can I say, don't feel like you are essentially not allowed to use items or anything. Especially if you're a new player, it does help a lot to be able to use them and to obviously take on the stage. So if you do struggle, just basically give it your best go and use whatever items you need to secure the victory. But you should be fine. Like I said, Trunks will carry you, and as long as you have a half decent team, you should be more than good to go. You don't need to complete all the missions, like I said, so it's not really like a major train smash. Once you have completed the stage or completed all the missions, remember you will still have to run the stage 3 times in total, as you need to do this to obviously obtain enough medals to Extremely Awaken Trunks. But it's fairly straightforward. Now that we've completed the stage, I will just jet back, basically, once we have completed the stage 2 more times, and then we will eventually Extremely Awaken the Trunks and ramp everything up. But it's a pretty straightforward process. Hope this has been relatively helpful to you guys. The super strikes are always a bit of a process. Once you've done a couple, you'll get used to it, and then you shouldn't really struggle too much. Ideally, at the end of the day, I think it's a pretty simple process, and I think the units are probably some of the better free-to-play units. So yeah, once we've Extremely Awakened Trunks, please remember to train in the copy you've been working on. So this essay goes to 20, and you're good to go, ready to max them out and use them. But that is basically going to be it for me. Please remember to collect your mission rewards so that you can grab all of your really nice stones. Really good stuff. And yeah, that's basically going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and bye.